Bitcoin and altcoins like Cardano take a plunge. Many people questioning, is the top of the bull market in? In this video, I'm going to zoom out on the charts, then we're going to zoom in on the charts and discuss exactly what is happening. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit the subscribe, hit the like on the way in. Let's jump into the Bitcoin and Cardano video. We're going to start with Bitcoin. We're going to start zoomed out on the charts. I just tweeted this a little bit ago. I think a lot of people new to Bitcoin are learning that bull markets aren't all sunshine and rainbows. Crypto isn't a get-rich-quick thing. Plan and prepare for volatility. It won't change anytime soon. Now, it's true. This is just the way bull markets are, and they're just as volatile as bear markets. I got this comment. Lots of YouTubers saying bull market is about to end. Some say it's just starting. Very confusing who to believe. Are we still in the middle of a bull market or about the end? I tweeted, I responded, I said, it's not a matter of believing anyone. These are all just opinions. No YouTuber knows what will happen. Everybody, I want to throw that out there. This is a data-based YouTube channel that I run here, Crypto Capital Venture. It's been very successful in doing one singular thing, setting us up for success, not only in crypto, but also mentally, not losing our minds when we get dips like what we see happening today. And so if you like that type of content, non-emotional, data-based, data-driven, preparation-based content, hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber. But let's talk about what's going on the Bitcoin charts. So, that person commented, where are we in the bull market? And I've been talking about this a lot on the zoomed out charts. We're 315 days post the 2020 halving. 315 days post the 2016 halving, we were in the middle of the last bull markets. We had Bitcoin had an insane dip. And we talk about this dip all the time because we're right around that area of this cycle, around 40% to the downside. Now, many people, I am sure, right, bailing out here because they're like, it's game over for Bitcoin. And look what transpired next. We've talked about recently all of the separation here at this parabolic line, at the 20-week moving average, so much more separation than all throughout the last bull market. That's because the velocity of Bitcoin entering this bull market has been absolutely insane. And we haven't even gotten this like crazy break to the downside where we can even start talking about confirming a bear market. So that's what's happening on the zoomed out charts. But let's talk about the move. Let's talk about what Bitcoin's doing, what it looks like. Let's start here with a video from March 29th. Chart. And this is what we want to track today as Bitcoin trades within this Fibonacci resistance. And that's the swing high, all-time high, swing low to the 50-day moving average, and back up. This is the key midterm trend reversal resistance area. That is the key area, everybody. That was March 29th. Now, this is a daily chart. There's a lot going on here on the charts. Let me actually get rid of this Fibonacci. But let's chart that Fibonacci that we talked about going into it. Swing high to swing low, and look at that. Look at that channel. So we were just entering that resistance channel when we were doing that video, March 29th. I guess it was right around here. And the reason we track this is because we talk about it in that video. Midterm reversal confirmation type of area. Bitcoin needed to break it, and it failed over and over again. And this is what we've been tracking for like the last week, around $59,000 to $60,000, the 786 line of the Fibonacci. We waited for bullish confirmation and separation, and it simply didn't happen. So therefore, we were never just overly bullish on Bitcoin because there was a ton of resistance at the 786 line, ton of resistance at the upper trend line of this, new resistance area for Bitcoin. So that's what's transpired. Now, furthermore, we've broken out of, on this daily chart, this descending triangle that we've also been talking about. We got the breakout right around here. And right now we're in the middle off of this resistance of a throwback to that triangle. And let's start zooming in and discussing here. So this is what it looks like on the zoomed in 6 hour, a little clear what's going on. This is a typical Bitcoin dip right now. I just truly don't think, and this is my opinion, anybody should just be discussing it's a bear market starting. I know that dips are just never fun. This wasn't fun. This wasn't fun. This wasn't fun. But was that the top of the bear market because we're getting, a short-term dip? We're still within a consolidation pattern We're trading above 1, this descending triangle, with a throwback occurring right now, which we talk about are so common in these triangles. And then what we talked about also in the other a video the other day was this. We now have the swing low, lower trend line touch down here to swing high resistance that we really just could not break. And Bitcoin has a new support area, consolidation support area. The 618, 54,000 down to the 786 around 52,300. Now, that setup is potentially, if we're going to make our way there, is the case for Bitcoin to throw back to the apex of the triangle, this descending triangle, throw back to a support area, namely the Fibonacci support. That is very common as we ping pong. Bitcoin ping pongs around the Fibonacci, resistance up here, support down here. And this is a picture of consolidation into an apex of, right now, we talked about this the other day, this symmetrical triangle. Speculative kind of right now, but turning into pretty much turning into a symmetrical triangle as we get this higher low now. And we're going to see if Bitcoin comes a little bit further down into that $54,000 to $52,000 area. But you can see we have a swing low, higher low. We have the symmetrical triangle in play as we work into the apex, and we're waiting still for a confirmation of some sort. So again, I'm not bearish as I do this video at all. This is Bitcoin consolidating. We're $55,500, $55,500. We have to track it. Will Bitcoin support hold here? Now, if Bitcoin just slices right through that area, slices through this lower trend line, then we have more midterm concerns. Even at that point, though, I'm not discussing the beginning of a bear market. That's just not my approach to these markets. That's not where my head's at right now. And I kind of briefly discussed that on the weekly chart. So that's what Bitcoin's looking like. Now, pivoting over to Cardano, everybody, we've talked about the zoomed out weekly chart for Cardano. It's just been seeing massive gains on the macro and currently also consolidating all the way up here above $1. Imagine that, consolidating above $1. And a lot of people, we're at $1.17, and a lot of people are just getting very impatient because of the sideways consolidation. I've mentioned over and over again, even if Cardano hits a very real target in the 70-cent range around this 20-week moving average, and I've thrown this data out there so that you can all be prepared. I'm not a hype YouTuber. I'm bullish, obviously. I'm very long on Bitcoin and Cardano, but I'm not a hype YouTuber, everybody. I get the realistic data that is before our eyes, namely targets to the downside. We have to prepare for these things. It's crypto. And not only that, if you look at Bitcoin in the last bull market, this is what happened over and over again. Why could it not happen this time around again? So going to Cardano, it's just a potential downside for Cardano. What would lead to that happening is what you see transpiring at this lower trend line right now. Just a really ugly weekly candle right now for Cardano so far, after really yesterday what transpired on the screen. Before we dig into the move, I just want to just view the daily chart and discuss the fact that right now the 50-day moving average right around $1.13, $1.14, and Cardano just above it. Midterm wise, it's not the best of scenarios if Cardano is going to break below it and start closing daily candles below that area. So that's one thing we're going to really watch over the next couple of days on this YouTube channel. What's Cardano doing at this 50-day moving average? You can really note, last time Cardano even broke that area was back here in December, a while ago. Also in a moment of consolidation, this was, a pretty big dip for Cardano, but we managed to the very next day get back up above the 50-day moving average, the blue line, and we've really never tested that area again until most recently. We tested it the end of March, and we're testing it very much so right now. And this is what it looks like on the 6-hour. We are just, Cardano also failed to break a bullish confirmation area, and we've been tracking it. I am bullish on Cardano. Even if we break out of this ascending triangle, I'm still bullish. That's just the way it is for me. Doesn't mean you have to be bullish, but swing low to swing high up here to $1.50. We know we got Cardano dipping to, and we talked about this very area, the support area. I don't know if you remember the Coinbase Pro listing, I said, if we don't get the pump everybody wants, be careful for the support area down here. We visited it. We saw support. We've been just trading along the 618 line of this support area. And right now we have led right into the lower trend line of this triangle. So truly the next 24 hours are going to be really interesting. Is Cardano going to trickle through this lower trend line? What we have to look for ultimately is from this swing low back here on like March 24th to whatever Cardano does next, can we put in another higher low? So maybe it trickles down. Maybe we come out of the triangle slightly. We're at $1.07, in the next 24 hours or something. Remember, ascending triangles, they have these breakouts to the downside and upside all of the time. And a pullback rate is 63%. And what a pullback is if you see Cardano break this area, 63% of the time, we get a pullback to the triangle. And that's the move I always look for, because a lot of people might short Cardano or Bitcoin when we get a lower trend line break. And I just think that's risky, because so often we get pullbacks, it's like a fake out. So that's something I'll be looking for in the very short term. Remember, we have this support here still, $1.06 area, $1.07 area. I'd be watching, really interested to see what happens at that area. But the next 24 hours, there's nothing more to do except for watch the charts, wait for just certain confirmations. Right now, just like Bitcoin, I'm not bearish on Cardano. I'm simply long-term bullish, and I'm waiting for maybe a short-term bearish confirmation to the downside, but that hasn't transpired yet. What transpired yesterday, though, is very real and in front of our faces. Two things, actually. We had the short-term resistance, the swing high here to swing low. Cardano just failed to even break that area. We talked about a lot on the channel leading into it. Up to $1.27, $1.28, failed. But not only that, in this crazy 6-hour wick, Cardano actually did, for a moment, and we were all feeling just very excited about this when it was happening, because it was nice. Swing high to swing low, a more midterm resistance. Cardano actually wicked into that green channel, that resistance area. That was the midterm reversal, bullish reversal confirmation area we were looking to break. Cardano didn't even make a dent into that resistance area. So we have a long way to go to break both of those areas. Once again, that is a more midterm resistance. We do have this new swing high. So right now we'd be looking for swing high to swing low right now, breaking back above that resistance. In yesterday's video, when we were getting this insane move, I did discuss on the short-term charts, basically, and I think I charted it from here to swing high. I guess at the time of where we were, it was probably more, maybe, I guess I did the video around $1.34, I think. But we were talking about the short-term support area and potential revisit. Cardano broke it, right? So that's a really important area. Curious to see what happens as this daily candle closes in around 4 hours. Where does this daily candle close is kind of what I'm looking for. Is it back above $1.19, this support area right here, or is it below the 618 here, this more midterm support that we've just been seeing support for a while now? I know I have a lot of Fibonacci's going, but the key takeaway here is the fact that all of these Fibonacci's, Cardano's still just in between all of them. There hasn't been a bullish or bearish confirmation yet on either one. So these are just the things I'm watching. At the end of the day, I'm just simply zooming out on the charts. I always try and talk about this weekly chart and the potential for 70-cent target. It's not fun to talk about. I want to talk about this target all day long, 250 plus, but we've been just tracking at the bottom of this triangle. And there is, if Cardano breaks below, if we get like a month-long downtrend for crypto, 70 to 80 cent target is just in play, because this is crypto. This is the volatility of it all. What does demand look like, though? And if we look at the Bitcoin chart and where we are at this point of the cycle, 315 days or so past halving, similar to this area in the last Bitcoin cycle, bull cycle, is demand really going to go away now? Is there not going to be any more demand? Are we going to enter a bear market right now? Not only do we not have the technical confirmations, in my opinion, to even really discuss a bear market just yet. I just don't think that the demand is lacking for that to happen just yet. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. So this is the data I'll be tracking tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some value from it. If you did, hit the subscribe, hit the like, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.